Good morning and happy Friday from a wet garden. It finally rained last night. The rain gauge only had like 1/4 of an inch of rain in it this morning when I came out, but the ground is wet, like wet. So that's good. It hadn't rained in a long while. Got my iced coffee. These marigolds are ridiculous, but I hate cutting off the flower heads, so that's why they look like that. Welcome to the garden. I noticed a new cantaloupe yesterday, which is fun, and there are some beans popping up from the beans I planted last week. Was it last week? Yes, it was last week. My legs are getting wet. And the sunflowers are starting to struggle a little bit. There's one over here on the end that's doing really bad. I may need to go ahead and yank that sucker up because everything on it looks bad. I don't know. I'm gonna try to come out and just like prune the crap out of it and see what happens. But they may be nearing the end of their life. There's a lot of dead heads up here I need to cut off. So, oh, there's cucumbers that need cut. Look at him. Okay. And there's beans that need picked. Yeah, I haven't been out here in this part of the garden in a few days. I've been picking tomatoes, but haven't really been down here. The cantaloupe plant's not looking great. Lots of yellow happening, but it has 2 cantaloupes on it now, so I don't know. Our watermelons are growing. The plant is starting to get like little spots on the leaves, which is weird, but I don't know. Our peas. Oh, our peas. Look, peas popped up. 2 peas. These are the golden peas, golden snap peas. The mammoth snow peas are over here, and neither of them have popped up yet. So that's very exciting. There are some pickles that need to be pulled off. There's at least one on here that needs to be pulled off. Oh, and there's one that's just round. Okay. It's weird when that happens. These determinate tomatoes. They're starting to look terrible. But this is what happens every time. I swear. They grow and they grow and they grow and they get huge. And then they freaking set all their fruit, and then as the fruit starts to ripen, the plant is like meh, and the plant just like, I don't know, stops looking good. I mean, this is what happened last year to me also with my Romas. They just started looking terrible, and I was like, what's happening? And then at that point last year, I didn't know that Romas were a determinate plant. I just, you know, tomato. So, yeah, I didn't know. It's mostly, actually, the Viva Italias that look terrible. It's actually mostly this one that's right here. Looks bad. I don't know. Has any of my kale come up? Look, that's kale. And I don't think there's any coming up on the other side, but yes, look, that is kale. Ooh, hello, sunflower. So that's fun. I literally planted that in the ground, and you're really not supposed to direct sow that, but I was like, let's try it anyway. Yeah, I need to do something about this. It's annoying. There's lots of tomatoes out here. The Chianti Rose, again, is in the walkway. The lemon boy has there's probably 4 or 5 lemon boys to pick. And look at this. This Cherokee purple is starting to blush. This is the only tomato out here that I haven't tried yet because these plants were so behind everything else. And there's actually a smaller one over on this other plant that's starting to blush also. And then there's this one. The big honker, the one that's like a conjoined blossom. It's getting pretty big. And there's also, I'm trying to not get wet. Everything out here is wet. There's also one of those on the Chianti Rose, and it's, I don't know, I think it might be 3 blossoms. Yeah, so that's awesome. The Purple Russian, once again, everything is splitting because it rained. Hate this plant. But, I don't know. I don't want to pull it out because they don't have a hole. And also it's producing tomatoes, so whatever. They're not the greatest, but I can put them in stuff and it's totally fine. So, yeah, I'm kind of at the point in the season, like literally I've been out here, I was out here yesterday morning and I picked some tomatoes to take to work. But I'm kind of at the point in the season, and this happens every freaking year, and every year I'm like, oh, what's wrong with me? But it happens every year. I'm just like burnt out on the garden. It's so much work at the beginning, and it's so much like anticipation of like putting everything in the ground and getting everything going and getting that first tomato and getting, you know, that first like handful of beans, that it just becomes like, almost like obsessive. And then actually I think I see a bell pepper growing on this plant. Maybe, I don't know, I don't want to jinx it. Anyway, and so I get to the point where, oh, there's 2 serranos growing too. Cool. Like I just don't want to come out here, and I don't want to water, and I don't want to just be out here in general, because right now it's like 7:45. It's the best time to be out here because it's not hot. Actually, right now it's perfect outside. It's not hot and there's no bugs out, but I can't come out here every day before work. Like I just don't have the time. It's a struggle, and so I'm feeling kind of like lost in a way with hobbies, because the garden was my hobby for, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months even. Like I started seeds in March. It's August, so that's like 5 months. I started the seeds, I babysat the seeds, I grew the seeds, blah blah blah. Got them all out here, got everything growing, kept the tomatoes pruned, all of that, and now it's like, I don't want to do it. It's too hot. There's too many bugs. I'm just not, I don't know. And it happens every year. You get burnout. It's usually like around this time when that happens for me. And like I know it's a thing that I go through every year, but I'm always like, this year I was like, oh crap, because like I spent quite a bit of money on this garden this year with these, between the trellises and like the fencing, and also time. Like we had to till up this whole part and get it all set to go and all blah blah blah, all that. And I'm like, oh, do I even want to do this again? And the answer is yes. Like by the time winter rolls around and it's like, January, I'm gonna be itching to garden again. So everything is cyclical, I found, especially with me and my hobbies. I'm a very distracted hobbyist. I'm not the type of person who can be like, oh yeah, I've had the same hobby for like 10 years. They go in cycles for me, because in the summer, gardening is the thing, And in the fall and winter, it's, you know, cross stitch and video games and that kind of thing. I have a couple, I don't know, like a month ago maybe, month and a half ago, we have a Nintendo Switch and we have Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I've never really been into video games like that. Like I'll play like Stardew Valley or like Mario Kart, that kind of thing. But I picked up the Switch and I was like, you know what, after they announced Breath of the Wild 2, I was like, you know what, I've never played a Zelda game ever in my whole life, and I want to play one. So I really like the Switch as a console. It's just a good console. And so I was like, I'm gonna play Breath of the Wild. And my husband's played it, but I think he told me he didn't actually like finish it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play this, and I love it. It's so fun. And so I'm looking kind of for a new hobby to go with the gardening and the YouTube. Something I can do in the wintertime that'll fill the gardening hole. And I started a Twitch channel. So if you're not familiar, Twitch is like an online streaming service, a streaming website, and like you can stream whatever you want, but most people stream video games. It's like a video game stream website. So I am going to start streaming on Twitch, and it'll be like PC games at first, like Stardew Valley and Don't Starve, but I told myself yesterday that if I'm still liking it and still doing it by the end of the year, by like New Year's, I will upgrade my stuff, and then I'll be able to stream from the Twitch or the Switch. So that's just a bunch of gobbledygook for me to say that I found a new hobby to add to my repertoire of hobbies and to take the place of gardening when it gets cold, and like right now when I don't want to be out here. So I'm working on getting my stream set up. I will drop a link in the description if that's the thing you're into. If it's not, just ignore it. So yeah, feeling unsettled with your hobbies, I think, is something everybody goes through, but it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of stressful sometimes. So that's just my long-winded way of saying I'm starting a Twitch channel. So if you're into that sort of thing, come watch me. And the YouTube's gonna, you know, keep going. It'll stay gardening videos, and then in the wintertime, I don't know, we'll see what happens. So I have a hair on my shirt. I hope everyone has a great day, and I will see you in the next one.